We continue chapter numericals on motion in a plane. Let us see question number 4.22. Question number 4.22. The question is I and j are unit vectors along x-axis and y-axis. I cap and j cap are unit vectors along x-axis and y-axis respectively. What is the magnitude and direction of the vectors I cap plus j cap? We have to find the magnitude. Find the magnitude and direction. Find the magnitude and direction of vector I cap plus j cap and vector I cap minus j cap. And what are the components of the vector A? What are the components? What are the components of vector? What are the components of vector A equals to 2I cap plus 3j cap along the direction of I cap plus j cap and along I cap minus j cap. So firstly we have to calculate the magnitude and direction of vector I cap plus j cap. The magnitude of the vector I cap plus j cap along the magnitude and direction of the vector I cap plus j cap. So the magnitude of I cap plus j cap is given by under root of, we know that the angle between I cap and j cap is 90 degree because x axis and y axis are mutually perpendicular to each other. So the coefficient of I cap is 1, coefficient of j cap is 1. So 1 square plus 1 square plus 2 into 1 into 1 into cos 90 degree. The angle between I cap and j cap is 90 degree. We are using the formula under root of p square plus q square plus 2pq cos theta, where theta is the angle between two vectors p and q, and here the angle between two vectors I cap and j cap is 90 degree. So we are using theta equals to 90 degree. Then we get under root of 1 plus 1 cos 90 is 0. So the magnitude is under root of root 2, under root of 2. Then for finding the direction, we use the formula tan theta equals to the coefficient of j cap y by x. Tan theta equals to y by x. So y means coefficient of j is 1, coefficient of I is 1, which is 1, can be written as tan 45 degree, and the angle theta equals to 45 degree. So the magnitude and direction of the vector I cap plus j cap, the magnitude is root 2 and the direction is theta equals to 45 degree. Now we find the magnitude of I cap minus j cap. Magnitude of I cap minus j cap. So this would be also calculated by the magnitude. This was the first part. The second part, magnitude of I cap minus j cap. So coefficient of I cap is 1, coefficient of j cap is -1 plus 2 pq means 2 into 1 into -1. and cos theta, theta is 90 degree. So again we get root 1 plus 1 minus 1 the square 1, cos 90 0, whole term becomes 0. So the magnitude remains same, root 2. But angle tan theta equals to coefficient of j cap is minus 1 upon 1, which is tan 135 degree. So theta equals to 135 degree. So the direction of I cap and j cap is 135 degree. Now we represent this on the by the diagram. This is angle 45 degree and this is theta, and this represents I cap plus j cap. I cap plus j cap. Along x axis there is I cap, along y axis there is j cap, and I cap minus j cap is at 135 degree. This is at 45 degree, this is also 45 degree, and this is again 45 degree, and this is 90 plus 45, 35 degree. Let this angle is theta. So this represents the I cap minus j cap, and this is negative of j cap. So we can represent by the diagram. This is x axis and this is y axis. So I cap plus j cap and I cap minus j cap. Now to find the component of vector A along the direction of I cap plus component of vector A. Component of vector A equals to component of vector A equals to 2I cap plus 3j cap along the direction of I cap plus j cap. So for finding the component of A along the direction of I cap plus j cap, we assume that vector B equals to I cap plus j cap. Vector B equals to I cap plus j cap. Now we use the formula A dot B. A dot B equals to magnitude of A, magnitude of B, cos theta, and the component of A will be A cos theta. The component of A is given by A cos theta. So we can write A dot B equals to A cos theta into magnitude of B, and A cos theta is calculated by A dot B upon B. B means magnitude of B. So A dot B, write the value of A, which is 2I cap plus 3j cap, and dot B. B is I cap plus j cap upon magnitude of B. Magnitude of B is calculated by under root of coefficient of I the square plus coefficient of j the square. So I dot I 1, so we get 2, and j dot j is 1, so 2 plus 3 upon root 2. So this is root 2. So 2 plus 3, 5 upon root 2. So the component of A along the direction of A I cap plus j cap is 5 by root 2 used. And in the same way, we calculate the component of A in the direction of B. So for the second part, we assume a vector A is given already 2I cap plus 3j cap, and vector B we supposed I cap minus j cap, and the same formula we used. So A cos theta equals to magnitude A vector dot B vector upon magnitude of vector B. So write down the value of A and B. 2I cap plus 3j cap dot I cap minus j cap, and magnitude of B will remain 1 square plus 1 square, so it becomes I dot I 1 2 minus 3 upon under root of 2, so minus 1 by root 2. So this is the component of vector A along the direction of I cap minus j cap. So we find the magnitude of I cap plus j cap, then angle, then magnitude of I cap minus j cap, and the direction, and then the component A cos theta in the direction of I cap plus j cap, and the component A cos theta in the direction of I cap minus j cap. Now the next question which we discussed is question number 4.23. Question number 4.23. For any arbitrary motion in a space, which of the following relations are true? So, the first relation is given. V average velocity V average is equals to Vt1 plus Vt2, means velocity at time t1 plus velocity at time t2 upon 2. So we have to say that which of the following relations are true. So this is not true because it is not defined in such a way. It is not true. It is not true because average velocity is not defined in this way. Average velocity is not defined in this way. That's why this is not true. The second statement is average velocity V average is equals to RT2 minus RT1. RT2 position at time t1 minus position at time t1 upon t2 minus t1. So this statement is true. It is true because we know the formula for average velocity: total displacement upon total time. So this is the total displacement. Position at time t1 minus position at time t2 minus position at time t1 gives total displacement, and t2 minus t1 is total time. So this statement is true. The third is Vt equals to V0 plus At. Velocity at time t equals to velocity at time 0 plus A into t. So this statement is also not true because in arbitrary motion acceleration is not defined. This is not true. It is not true because this is the formula V equals to U plus At. This is the formula for uniform motion. This is the formula used for uniform motion, but we have given the arbitrary motion. So this formula is used for uniform motion. This formula is used for uniform motion or uniform acceleration. But we have given the arbitrary motion. Now the D is RT equals to R0, position at time t equals to position at time 0. RT equals to R0 plus V0, velocity at time 0 plus half A into t square, half A into t square. This is also not true, the same reason, because this formula is used for uniform motion or uniform acceleration. Here the motion is arbitrary. So this is not true. Now the last is E. A average velocity equals to velocity at time t2 minus vt2 minus vt1 upon t2 minus t1. This is the formula for average acceleration. So it is true. It is true. The formula for average acceleration. So this statement is true. Now the next question, read the statement carefully and state with reason and examples if it is true or false. If the statement is true, then we have to give the reason and also give the examples. If it is false, then also we have to give the reason and example. Question number 4.24. The first statement is a scalar quantity is one that is conserved in a process. The statement is a scalar quantity is one. A scalar quantity is one that is conserved in a process. That is conserved in a process. The scalar quantity is one that is conserved in a process. So this statement is true or false, because this statement is false, because there is a scalar quantity kinetic energy which is not conserved in an elastic collision. Kinetic energy which is a scalar quantity and is not conserved in elastic collision. We study in next chapter work about elastic collision. In chapter work done, we study about elastic collision. So in elastic collision, the kinetic energy, and kinetic energy is a scalar quantity which is not conserved. Moreover, vector quantities. Like linear momentum, angular momentum, all these are vector quantities. Linear momentum, angular momentum are conserved. So this statement is false, because there are few scalar quantities which are not conserved, like kinetic energy is a scalar quantity which is not conserved in elastic collision. But moreover, there are various physical quantities, there are various vector quantities like linear momentum, angular momentum, which are conserved. So this statement is false. Now the second statement. The next statement is a scalar quantity can never take negative value. 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 We have to say whether it is false or true. So this statement is also false, because scalar quantities like electric potential, temperature can have the negative value. This statement is false because scalar quantities like electric potential, which we studied in class 12 about electric potential. So scalar quantities like electric potential and temperature, which have a negative value, So that's why this statement is false. The second statement is a scalar quantity must be dimensionless. A scalar quantity must be dimensionless. This statement is also false. Because there are scalar quantities. Like mass, density, which have certain dimensions. So there are various quantities like mass, density, which have certain dimensions. So this statement is also false. Now the next statement D. A scalar quantity doesn't vary from one point to another in a space. A scalar quantity doesn't vary from one point to another in a space. A scalar quantity doesn't vary from one point to another in a space. So this is also false because density varies point to point. This statement is also false because density is a scalar quantity. Which varies point to point in an atmosphere. The value of density gets regularly changes in an atmosphere point to point. That's why this statement is also false. Next is a scalar quantity has the same value for object with different orientation of axis. A scalar quantity has the same value. A scalar quantity has the same value. A scalar quantity has the same value. A scalar quantity has the same value for observers. With different orientation of axis. So this statement is true. Because the mass of a body measured by different observers with different orientation of axis has the same value. This statement is true because mass measured by different observers. The value of mass measured by different observers with different orientation of axis. With different orientation of axis as the same value. So this statement is true. So all the four A, B, C, D is false and the statement E is true. Now question number 4.25. An aircraft is flying at a height of 3400 meters above the ground. 4.25. An aircraft is flying at a height of 3400 meters above the ground if the angle subtended at a ground observation point by the aircraft positions 10 seconds apart is 30 degrees. Suppose initially the aircraft is at point A, after time 10 seconds the aircraft reaches at point B, and the observation point on the ground, after 10 seconds the angle subtended is total 30 degree and the height of the aircraft is situated at a height of 3400 meter and this complete angle is 30 degree. When he is at position B after time t equals to 10 seconds, you observe the angle subtended is 30 degree. It means this angle is 15 degree and this angle is also 15 degree. So we have to, and OC is 3400 meter. Then find the speed of the aircraft. So we calculate the value of tan 15 degree. We use the triangle OCB. In triangle OCB, tan 15 degree. Tan 15 degree, this is perpendicular CB upon base CO, and CB is equals to CO tan 15 degree. CB is equals to CO tan 15 degree and whole distance AB is equals to twice of CB equals to 2 into CO into tan of 15 degree. So the value of CO is 3400 into tan of 15 degree. So 3400 into 2 into tan 15 degree. And the value of tan 15 degree is 0.2679. So 2 into 3400, that is 6800 into the value of tan 15 degree is 0.2679. 0.2679. So this we have calculated the horizontal distance AB. Now if the speed of aircraft is v, then the speed v equals to distance upon time AB upon t, and the value of AB we have calculated 6800 into 0.2679 and time is given 10 seconds. When we solve this expression, we get 182.24 meter per second. This is the speed of the aircraft.